to for a long time without break and in all earnestness. The first qualification for the practice is that it should be done for a long time. Unfortunately, we just want the result immediately. If I ask you to repeat a mantra and tell you that you will become a more peaceful and realized being, If I ask you to repeat a mantra and tell you that you will become more peaceful and realize beautiful things within, you will go back home, repeat it for 3 days, and then call me. I've repeated it for 3 days, but nothing happened. Maybe this is not a suitable mantra for me. Can you give me a different one? See? So Patanjali says, for a long time. He doesn't say how long. And then it should be without break. I often hear, oh, I've been practicing yoga for the past 10 years, but I'm still the same. How often? Oh, off and on. So it must be continuous practice also. And the last qualification is in all earnestness. That means with full attention, with the entire application of your mind, and with full faith in your achievement. Even when you want something or somebody on the worldly level, you will be after it day and night. You don't sleep, you don't even eat, you're always at it. If this quality is necessary to achieve even worldly success, how much more so for success in yoga? So let us not be like little children who sow a seed today and dig it up tomorrow to see how much the root went down. We need all these 3 qualities: patience, devotion, and faith. This reminds me of a small story given in the Hindu scriptures, in the Devaloka, or the heavenly plane, where the divine beings live. There is a great Maharshi called Narada. Just as there are great yogis here, so there are also among the gods. So Narada travels all over and sometimes comes to earth to see how we are doing. One day he was passing through a forest and saw a yoga student who had been meditating for so long that the ants had built an anthill around his body. The yogi looked at Narada and said, "Narada, sir, where are you going?" "To heaven, to Lord Shiva's place." "Oh, could you please do something for me there?" "Sure, what can I do?" "Could you find out from the Lord how many more births I must meditate? I have been sitting here for quite a long time, so please find out." "Sure." Then Narada walked a few miles farther and saw another man, but this one was jumping and dancing and singing with all joy. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. When he saw Narada, he said, "Hi, Narada, where are you going?" "To heaven." "Oh, that's great. Could you please find out for how long I have to be here like this? When will I get final liberation?" "Sure, I will." So after many years, Narada happened by the same route again and saw the first man. The yogi recognized Narada. "Narada, I haven't had an answer from you. Did you go to heaven? What did the Lord say?" "I asked, but the Lord said you have to take another 4 births." "Another 4 births? Haven't I waited long enough?" He started shouting and lamenting. Narada walked further and saw the second man still singing and dancing. "Hi, Narada, what happened? Did you get some news for me?" "Yes." "Well, tell me. Do you see that tree there?" "Sure." "Can you count the leaves on it?" "Sure. I have the patience to do it." "Do you want me to count them right away?" No. You can take your time to count. But what has that got to do with my question?" "Well, Lord Shiva says you will have to take as many births as the number of leaves on that tree." "Oh, is that all? So at least it's a limited number then. Now I know where it ends. That's fine. I can quickly finish it off. Thank you, God, that he didn't say the leaves of the entire forest." Just then, a beautiful, I don't know how to say this word, palanquin?
No.
I guess so. Just then, a beautiful palanquin came down from heaven. A different book calls it a chariot, so maybe that's what it is, like a chariot. And the driver said to the second man, "Come on, would you mind getting in? Lord Shiva has sent for you." I'm going to heaven now? Yes. But just now Narada said I have to take so many more births first. Yes, but it seems that you were ready and willing to do that, so why should you wait? Come on. And what about the other man? He's not even ready to wait 4 more births. Let him wait and work more. This is not a mere story. You can easily see the truth behind it. If you are that patient, your mind is more settled, and what you do will be more perfect. If you are unsettled and anxious to get the result, you are already disturbed. Nothing done with that disturbed mind will have quality. So it is not only how long you practice, but with what patience, what earnestness, and what quality also. I do want to read, because I was reading last night, Jafar's book. I know Pam has it. So he groups Sutra 112 through 115 together and offers a commentary. Is it okay if I read it?
Yeah.
Go for it.
These 4 sutras will be addressed collectively as they comprise the essence of the journey of yoga. The order in which information is presented in the Yoga Sutras is not to be overlooked. Practice precedes freedom, non-attachment, because it is what grounds us. It is our devotion, dedication, work, and effort that reflect our willingness to first show up for ourselves, even when it is easier not to. There is a very important distinction in understanding the philosophy of vairagyam. So the vairagyam is the sense of freedom or the non-attachment. It does not mean that you are not present to the moments of life, rather you are fully immersed in the experience of the now, atha. This teaching is offered to lessen the influence of the activities of the mind or the vrittis that cloud the seer from true self-mastery. The freedom we are speaking to is the freedom from the attachments to the fruits of the action. When you soften this attachment, one is able to give fully to the present moment, practicing vairagyam. We often teach our students to fall in love with all the moments of life. The philosophy of vairagyam, in tandem with abhyasa, is the path of becoming fully conscious and awake in this human experience. So the abhyasa part is the practice. So the philosophy of freedom in tandem with practice is the path of becoming fully conscious and awake in this human experience. It allows us to stay committed to our practice without reaching for the fruits of our labor. Only then can we truly be present and receive the lessons that each moment provides. This path embodies the essence of Tantra, Zen Buddhism, Sufism, and the path of the mystic, to fall in love with all the atha moments of life. By cultivating an attitude of not grasping the goal, while at the same time having the tenacity and willingness to show up every day for the pursuit of the goal, we are provided the answer on how to achieve the state of yoga. Here we are presented with one of many paradoxes found in the Yoga Sutras. To stay committed without promise of guaranteed outcome. Any student of philosophy will tell you the secret is found in between the seemingly opposite tools. Should we talk? Should we meditate? Should we talk first? Anybody want to say something or share something?
I'll
It
share.
reminds me of gardening. In gardening, you have to attend to it every day,
Yeah.
or everything dries out, and or the squirrels, those nasty little buggers, get everything. You have to attend to it every day, but you have to have the patience. You have a goal at the end, but you can't think about that every day, or you will just give up because everything takes so long. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, no, that's a beautiful comparison. It's true. Sometimes you plant seeds and the fruit doesn't come. You know, you
That's
tend
for
to it
sure.
and you care for it, and I get strawberries that have no strawberries on them.
Yes, pretty flowers, but no strawberries.
No
What happened?
strawberries. Yeah. I think Amanda wanted to talk.
Me? Oh,
No,
Yeah.
I said,
Oh, I did hear another voice. Go ahead, Pam.
when I read the sutras yesterday, I had like done a little research, and I think I missed something I wanted to say, but it also ties to this one. But I think we have to remember, and it goes to what Sue was saying with gardening, it's not just practicing, it's not being attached to the outcome. So keep gardening, whether or not the strawberries grow. Keep doing the chaturangas, even if you're never going to do an arm balance. And even like I've been sending random texts and emails to people, and I don't expect a response from them. Like, I'm doing it because I want to reach out to them. I'm not doing it for the response back. And I think that part of it is important for us, because we get so attached to the outcome of it that we need to remember that part. And I just wanted to share.
Yeah. And like our identity, or like how you see yourself, gets all tangled up and wrapped up in how you do things, you know, instead of like why we do things. And then it's like, oh, I decided I would help and jump on and do sutra study, but the mic wasn't working right away. This is a sign I shouldn't do it. You know what I mean? Like, it's like right away we're met with a failure, and like at least for me, my initial response is like, oh, I failed, I'm not good at this. So like, you know, nobody comes to class, I'm not going to teach anymore. It's clearly I'm not a good teacher because people don't come to class or things like this. And I think the original, the blue book, not the red one, the blue one, there's a line in here that I underlined last night because it was very meaningful to me, and it's very meaningful for this time. Like, it seems to be that the answer for this moment right now is to be in a practice with the three qualities, which is patience, devotion, and faith. So this time that we're living through right now is really asking us to be super patient. Like, we don't know. You know, we keep hearing 14 days, like 14 days is this magical, like the 14 days is a magical pill. You know, if you have coronavirus, then you quarantine for 14 days. If you don't have coronavirus, that area is gray. Do I walk the dog or don't walk the dog if I don't have coronavirus? And if the people quarantining for 14 days do so, and then they come back out, but all the other people who weren't quarantined, like the question and the concern about how contained is this virus really, and how much can we contain it really, is so uncertain. Like, that this is requiring patience from all of us, because the truth is, a lot of scientists and a lot of doctors, they're giving us information as they learn it, but the truth is they don't really know either. And so we're really being asked during this time of COVID-19 to practice patience, to stay home without knowing when we'll be able to go to the movies again or go to dinner again. We're being asked to store food in the house just in case. And I think that we're really being prepared for something, and that it's worth it to listen to the lesson that's in front of us and to do so with patience. I mean, at the worst that could happen is that we all overreacted. The worst that could happen is that we'll all have extra flour in the pantry. And the idea of like rushing through this is not even an option. Like, you could say, okay, I'm going to sand down that wall and paint, and I'm going to, you know, spark joy in my closet and my winter clothing, and I'm going to, you know, teach my baby the alphabet, or I don't know, like, well, everybody's little baby will be a prodigy by the time quarantine is over. All of these things, eventually we run out of projects. Eventually you hit that wall where you're like, okay, I already wiped everything, all the doorknobs are clean, I boiled beans, we have beans in the freezer for like forever, you know, all the projects are done, and then what? And then what? We're still in quarantine, and then what? You know. So the practice of patience is really being demanded of that right now. And then the devotion piece for me is very meaningful. These like 3 aspects. The devotion piece is very meaningful because for me, there's a very deep spiritual lesson in this COVID-19 drama we're having. And for me, there's a deeper underlying cause. I see myself, and this is just me. I see myself as a what do you call this? Frontera. What do you call frontera?
The front.
No. The frontera
border.
between states and countries.
The
Oh
border.
my God.
The border.
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 Thank you. Border. I see myself as a border control between this realm and the other side. So I don't know, I might sound like a crazy person, but I feel that I am being asked to hold the boundary, to stay the course, to stay steady, to wait patiently as this warrioress holding down this border, because there is deep spiritual work, there is deep like planetary work that's happening that needs to happen. And in order for it to happen, I cannot be thinking about myself and how I'm going to go back to work, and like all of those things don't matter right now, because there is a deeper evolution and a deeper transformation that's happening beyond my eyes, beyond the capacity of my mind. And I am consumed with my own existence because I'm a human being. I'm consumed with what's happening to me. I'm consumed with what's happening, in my immediate surroundings. And I am forgetting that it is part of my job also to hold space for real change, to hold space for structures to shift, to hold space for policy to shift, to hold space for the planet to have total quiet, total rest. Like every time I see a post on social media that shows like, new animals, the animals have returned to this area after so long. Like in Venice, the swans came back and the water was clear. And some island where the turtles had like totally disappeared, now there were like 72,000 turtles came back or something. And all of the ecosystems of the world, maybe not all of them, but some of them that were really getting depleted are starting to go back to their nature. And these are all things that are beyond my immediate surrounding. They're beyond my immediate situation. They're beyond the fact that now we have to do everything online. Like all of that is outside of how we're functioning. But by functioning the way that we are and doing so with patience, life is reemerging. Life is picking up where it left off, so to speak. And so I have to be devoted to, I'm hearing the message to be devoted to that which is bigger than my current experience. That be devoted to that which is bigger than me. And that it's not just about me, that this is about a bigger picture. It's not even just about people. It's about regulating something beyond what I can see. And I feel really invited to be devoted to that, to dedicate my time at home to that, to new life, to new birth, to a new earth, to a new way of being, and a new kind of people. And then the last piece is faith. Like, how do you know that you are a warrioress holding down the border between dimensions? I mean, really, woman, like, what are you thinking? And what makes you, there's a part of me that's also like, what makes you so special to be border control for the other dimensions, right? And it's my faith that says so. It's my conviction that says so. It's when I close my eyes and I hear the thought, or I hear the voice, or I see the image of me being the kind of person that holds space for things to heal, that holds space for things to be renewed, that holds space for love to be present, even in the face of destruction or warfare or famine or hunger or illness or disrupts in relationships. That even when all of those things are there, I can still be this warrioress, this officer, or this official, guiding that there's always love, or guiding that there's always something in place to keep us going. I don't know. What do you guys think?
That was super beautiful.
Oh, thank you. and weird, no? I'm gonna make one of my projects is gonna be like dimension border control. We're all gonna get a star. It'll be like the new sheriffs in town.
I don't think it was weird. I think it was very true to you, and
Yeah.
it was nice to hear.
Yeah.
And it doesn't sound crazy because you really believe it. If you didn't, it would come off crazy. So
Mhm.
don't say it's crazy,
Yeah. Okay. Good.
because then
Crazy is
you're
one
just
of those
saying you're
words.
crazy. And we're all
Yeah.
crazy. That's why we're here.
This is true. This is true.
It was nice of you to share, Pam.
Yes.
Crazy. Adriana, I think when this is over, you should write a fictionalized story about warriors and what you just said. I think it would make a great story, and the kind of story that becomes a fable. So you should do that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or you
you'll
should
be-
give me the idea and I'll write it. Just let me know.
I've started a story. I'll share it with you, Sue, if you're a writer. I have a drum, and there's a cheetah painted on the drum. I feel like this is my animal spirit, this cheetah. And so I'm writing a story about a woman, a warrioress, who travels because there is no choice. This is like when colonization hits the Amazon, and the people are really unaware. And she has always been the warrior. She has always lived in the jungle, among the jungle, but she's the keeper of the grounds. She's like the keeper of the border. And when the call comes that the colonizers have arrived, there's a specific call. She hears the call, and as a warrior with her people, so she has like a crew, and her people come in response to the call. But it was just too much. There were just too many of her people unwilling to fight, too many of her people unwilling to stand up and say something, and too many of her people unwilling to run as well. So she reaches this point where she realizes that she's either going to go down with her people, or she'll be, the one who runs away and the one who saves the tribe or the lineage or whatever. The truth is she's running, because it's like, it's either I die or I run. And because she's this incredible warrioress, she escapes, she swims, she hikes, and in my imagination, she takes that path through South America and lands in Costa Rica. And it's a totally fictional story about like how I'm Costa Rican. It's like a made up thing in my mind, but she is this border control thing that I'm speaking of. And there are moments on the path where she's very familiar with the jungle. She's like one with nature, but there are moments on the path as she's walking, because she's so alone, that she starts to doubt herself. And then plugged in between the journey is like stories about other women. So yeah, it's definitely a project in the works. Thank you for like channeling that.
Yeah, you should definitely finish writing this. I'd
Yeah.
love to see it.
I will share it with you. I promise. Thank you.
Okay.
There's something else I want to bring up, actually, if no one else has anything to share. And it's the portion from Jafar and Miriam's book. And it's that he groups these 4 sutras together because they comprise the essence of yoga, meaning the order in which information is presented in the Yoga Sutras is not to be overlooked. Practice precedes freedom. And I think that that's a very worthy like note because a lot of us are looking for freedom, you know, freedom from our traumas, freedom from this feeling that we have on the inside. You know, we're looking to be uplifted. And yes, it does reference like we want things now. You know, if I meditate today, I want to feel this blissful feeling now. I want to be connected to consciousness now. And that freedom is accessed through the practice. And maybe we could take a moment to think about like how, do we have time? It's 7:15, which means if we're going to meditate
We have
for
to
20
meditate
minutes.
soon.
Okay.
Maybe like
So
2
maybe
more
just
minutes
like,
to play with.
yeah, maybe just like one or two people can, if you choose, if you want, to share a little bit about the freedom that you've been able to access through practice. Like, what has the practice offered you? Because sometimes it's easy to fall off of the practice. And if we remind ourselves what it is about the practice that gives us, like, how have you been able to access your freedom through your practice? And that doesn't just mean asana, it could be, you know, this, how does studying or reading or meditating give you a sense of freedom?
Well, we a lot of people, that anyone that I talk to, like, you know, I've been texting a lot of people, just checking in on people, and anyone who does practice, everyone comes back with something. You know, if I didn't have this practice, I'd be losing my mind. If I didn't have the practice, and I know that if I didn't have the practice, I'd be a complete mess. And
Yeah.
and meaning, it's hard to go through this, and it's like, I'm not saying it's all hunky-dory and I'm, you know, all great, like whistling around, but I'm doing pretty well in terms of, like, on this week twice I had a lot of physical pain, and I moved yesterday in your workshop. It all went away. And
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't be able to move. I probably wouldn't be able to turn my head, because that's how I used to be before. And then the mind, like, not being able to constantly pulling to this present moment, my anxiety, I would be completely dysfunctional right now. I wouldn't even be able to handle just putting dinner on the table and taking care of the kids, let alone everything else that we've been doing.
Yeah.
And that's the practice. And it's a lot of different things. It's the meditation, it's the asana practice, which I've been doing less of. It's the awareness of watching everything come up and knowing when I need to, like, all right, that's it. Like, just go for a walk. You know, like, get out of this space and go on your mat, and not allowing everything to just snowball into a huge thing where, you know, like, then, and I probably, like, I used to be, I would be like sitting with a box of something, with a lot of boxes of carbohydrates.
Yeah. Totally. I do sit with boxes of things. I haven't bought boxes, so this is a good practice for me. When I go to the store, I just don't buy them because I know that I'll eat the whole sleeve. Yeah. All right. Well, I'd like to share a little breath work with you. We did lung breath last night. I'd like to share that with you today. The lungs are, so I love Louise Hay, and Louise Hay has this beautiful way of linking a physical ailment or symptom with a metaphysical like response. So basically our pain and suffering, our emotions, they live in specific places in the body. So she has this really beautiful book, and she talks about the lungs, which is what COVID-19 is attacking, right? It's attacking the lower lobe of the lungs. The lungs are about our capacity for life, our capacity to live a full life. And sometimes we think that a full life means all joy, all happiness, all those things, right? Our association to good things. But a full life is actually all of it. full life is experiencing your anger, it's experiencing your sadness, it's experiencing the joys, the successes, the failures, the losses, the pain, all of it, and still wanting, still having that desire to practice, right? To be in this moment, to be in the experience, to want to be alive. And on the flip side of that, the lungs are the holders of grief, depression, sadness. The remedy to this ailment has been go home, stay inside. I know I've been talking about this forever, but I think it's worth it to repeat. That this moment in time is calling for us to pay attention to give our attention to and our focus to what we've been sad about for a long time, what we are sad about now, and what you are sad about now, what is upsetting you right now in the moment, can also lead you, if you don't know what it is you've been sad about your whole life, what you're upset about now is probably the same thing. It just shows up like something different, but really underneath it, there's a wound. And that original wound doesn't need fixing or changing. It just needs your love and your tenderness and your forgiveness. So let's sit up nice and tall, or if you're laying down, lay down and just hold your hands in the space in front of the lungs. And you can close your eyes if you feel comfortable doing that. And try to see if you can smile from the inside. Like, try to see if you can close your eyes and feel what it is to smile. And then notice that smile landing on the lungs. And for the next few breaths, really envision yourself. If a smile could be a feeling, see if you can conjure up that feeling and send it towards the lungs. On your next inhale, press your palms up towards the ceiling, so you're stretching your arms, and then stretch your thumbs even more. The thumbs are the end point to the lung meridian. So to stretch the lungs to stretch the thumbs is to sort of access the lungs, stretch the lungs. Deep breath in, slow breath out. When you exhale, empty completely and pause. Hold the breath out and lower your hands back in front of the lungs. And when you're ready and hungry for a new breath, press the arms up. Stretch through the thumbs. Exhale completely. Keep the breath out. Lower your hands in front of the lungs again. Pause for as long as you can. And then when you're ready and hungry for an inhale, press the hands up. Stretch through the thumbs. Keep the breath out. Lower the hands in front of the lungs. And when you're ready, we'll go 3 more rounds, your own pace. Once you've completed, bring the hands back to the space in front of the lungs. And just be with your breath. And keep smiling on yourself and smiling towards your grief, towards your sadness. Smile towards the lungs. And start working with expanding that smile. Maybe smile towards this group's lungs. Smile towards this group's capacity for life. And then send your smile out towards the people that you know and love, your friends, your family. Focus on that tenderness that you're cultivating for yourself. Focus on building that and then maybe sharing it with others. And as you breathe, you can send your smile to people you know in other countries. We can send our smile to women who are about to have a baby or having a baby now during this tough time. We can send the smile to the homebound, people who are sick in a bed, not from coronavirus, but maybe their whole life. We can send a smile to all the doctors and the nurses who are helping people. We can send a smile to all the people feeding others. We can send a smile to people who are still in detention centers and prisons, who for the moment aren't getting any visits. We can send a smile to the planet and all the animals. And we can send a smile to all of the trees being the lungs of the earth. And as you breathe, just expand on the smile, that inner smile towards the self. Pour so much in that the surplus has nowhere else to go but out. Start to slowly deepen your breath. As you inhale, feel the lungs expand, feel the rib cage expand. Bring that breath all the way to the top and pause. And then slowly, slowly exhale. Feel the breath leave the body, leave the lungs. Feel the rib cage contract. And try that again. Big breath in all the way to the top. Fill up, fill up, fill up. Hold. And then exhale slowly and completely emptying out. Pausing at the bottom of the exhale. And then last time, big breath in. Pause. Slow breath out. Pause. And then when you're ready, come back to your natural breath. Turn the corners of your mouth up.